in 1903, there was a Dallas circus that bought an elephant from Carl Hagenbeck, who was, at the time, a legend in training wild animals for performances. And the circus owner was friends with Carl, and Carl said to the owner, "This is the smartest elephant, this is the smartest animal I've ever worked with. She's brilliant, and the only reason I'm giving her to you is because we're friends." And so they get the elephant, they're in Dallas, the elephant arrives, and they can't get her to do anything. So even getting her out of the pen that she was in, moving her around, they had to push her, pull her, drag her. The circus owner is just beyond himself. He's like, maybe she's deaf. I can't get her to do anything. So he calls his friend on the phone and he says, you know, what in the heck did you sell me? This elephant's got to be deaf. She won't do a thing. She's stupid. And Carl said to him, Nein, no, she's the smartest elephant I've ever worked with. Every morning I say to her, Wie geht's, Mama? Which is, how are you, Mama? And I say, Was ist los? How are you? And she would greet me like a child. And suddenly, the circus owner realized that old mom only knew how to speak German. So he goes back to her and he says, Wie geht's, Mama? And the elephant instantly started trumpeting and wiggling a little bit and put its trunk around the circus owner and hugging him, because the elephant finally felt like, yes, somebody is speaking my language. That's a true story. So that kind of sets the tone for what we're going to talk about today. Your clients are telling you what they want. The problem is they're speaking German or you're speaking German, and therefore you're not really hearing them. So when I was preparing for this session, we're going to go in a little bit of a roundabout way, but I think at the end you're going to see that your clients are telling you exactly what they want to buy. Just they're speaking a different language, and it's up to you to understand. So my guiding principles on effective marketing communications is this, and it's really important you understand these fundamentals and principles. If you are going to be successful in marketing, if you are going to be successful at selling, if you are going to get people to give you their time and attention. And by the way, there is a handout that you can put into your binders. You might want to grab that because we're going to use it later on. To influence anyone, you must speak their language, not yours. Their language, not yours. How many of you have heard of Cesar Millan? The dog trainer Cesar Millan, right? What does he say? He says, I train people and I rehabilitate dogs. Because the dogs need rehabilitation from their owners who do not understand how to speak to the dog. So for example, one of the things I learned from Caesar, how many of you in here are dog people? Let me see, show hands. Yeah, it's my kind of crowd, okay. I like cats too, but I'm a dog person. And how many of you have ever had somebody come to the door, the dog goes apeshit crazy, barking, and you're opening the door and you're trying to greet this person, and the dog's barking and going crazy, and you're going, shut up, shut up, shut up. Am I the only one who does that? Right? See, you think you're telling the dog, shut up, and the dumb dog, who's a dumb dog, doesn't understand. Here's what the dog sees and hears. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's what he hears you doing, and he goes, oh, bark at the person. Yes, okay, I'm going to bark at the person. So by you actually yelling at the dog doesn't hear stop. The dog just hears you barking and thinks that's what they're supposed to do because you're leader of the pack. And because so actually the correct way to do that is the whole shh, you know how he does, you take ownership and you stand, and try this the next time your dog's barking. Don't even say a word, just go up and stand in front of them and go, shh, shh. You don't have to say anything, and instantly they'll back down. You watch, you try it. It's because you have to understand how they communicate in order to get effective communication going. And the dog's not dumb. The dog just only knows its language. And so we as salespeople, we as marketers, we have to understand the way our clients talk and communicate if we want to be effective with them. The second thing is people always buy for their reasons, not yours. And this is hard. This is hard for me. What you see as valuable, they don't see as valuable. They don't understand the interpretation of the value. Nito will probably talk about that. I hope he does. How do you interpret the value? Because you cannot just say, here's what we do for you, and assume that the prospect understands the value. Even the customer doesn't understand the value of what you do. You have to interpret the value for them in a way that they can understand. You've all heard, you are not your customer, right? Yes? And so you have different values because you see the world through your viewpoint. And anybody who's selling anything, we have a skewed viewpoint on what we do, what's important, what's valuable. What we think is important and valuable, they don't necessarily think is important and valuable. It's one of the things I struggle with all the time, because I know what you really need. But if I only sell you what you really need, I'm not going to make many sales. Because the best thing that all we could do at this event is pull out the toolkit and go through the fundamentals again. That's the best thing we could do for everybody in this room. That's what you need. Most of you do not have the fundamentals mastered. But if I did that at every producers club or at every meeting, pretty soon this room is going to be less and less full because people want new ideas and so forth. So I have to, and we all have to do this, we have to balance between giving them what they want and what will sell, and giving them and then fulfilling on what they need, okay? People buy or don't buy based on how they feel about you and your services, not what they know about you. I have conducted hundreds of interviews with people who buy managed services, your customers, and when I ask them, why did you buy from my client versus the other people that you interviewed, they always start with the answer, I just felt like. So they don't even understand consciously what they're saying. We've heard that people buy based on emotion, not on fact, yet every one of you is still trying to sell based on logic. And you need the logic. I'm not saying throw it out the window, but you have to tap into people's feelings because that's what they're really buying. And I know that's really hard for all of you to understand because the analytical side, the logical side, the Spock brain that you have wants to sell on logic and facts and information, and you do have to provide that. But if you do not tap into the emotional need that they are trying to satiate, they're trying to fulfill on, or what they're trying to buy, you're going to miss the mark.